Thousands of migrants have surged to the U.S.-Mexico border after a rule that allowed illegal immigrants to be expelled quickly ended last night. The policy, called Title 42, had been in place for the last 3 years during the pandemic. Now the country will be returning to Title 8 to deal with asylum and deportations. Manisa Danabalan joins us live to explain more. Hey, Manisa.
Hey, Kelly, there are lots of challenges with Title 8 for migrants and border officials as well. Let's take a look at what the new changes are and what it means. Thousands of migrants gathering at the U.S.-Mexico border to figure out what to do next as Title 42 came to an end, causing widespread confusion.
There is a perception that somehow the border and the U.S. government, the southwest border is somehow under siege, which I think is just not actually factually true. I think that one of the other challenges is that there's a lot of misinformation for migrants about what they can and cannot get if they come into the U.S. border.
Title 42 was issued during the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic and allowed authorities to swiftly turn away migrants at the U.S. border to prevent the spread of the virus.
I think one of the concerns initially was that the Trump administration used it as a way to basically say, we're not going to allow anyone to cross the U.S. borders and have their claims for refugee protection or their applications for asylum adjudicated. We're going to push them all back to Mexico, and we're going to use this authority under Title 42 to do so.
The U.S. government now returning to a decades-old section of U.S. code known as Title 8, which Homeland Security warned will carry more severe consequences for migrants who enter the country illegally.
We've been very, very clear that there are lawful, safe, and orderly pathways to seek relief in the United States. And if one arrives at our southern border, one is going to face tougher consequences, and that is what we are going to deliver.
Consequences could include a ban on re-entry for at least 5 years, migrants facing criminal prosecution if they attempt to cross again. Alongside the return to Title 8, the Biden administration also introducing a new asylum rule that largely blocks migrants from seeking asylum in the U.S. if they didn't apply online or seek protection in the country they traveled through. But immigrant advocates have filed a lawsuit against the rule, saying it breaks U.S. and international law and puts vulnerable migrants in harm's way. Some experts say resources should be used to make the conditions in other countries better rather than militarizing the U.S. border.
What I do think is lacking in U.S. foreign policy is a willingness to address the reasons why people are fleeing. Like, the fact that children and mothers are willing to risk their lives and ride on the top of trains to get to safety is not a light decision. It's a decision that you only make in the most desperate set of circumstances.
Some say it might be time for the Biden administration to take a more humanitarian approach.
To deal with people crossing the border, to send enough resources down there, be able to house people in some, respectable kind of way, and to maybe begin allowing these people to come in. We have a serious labor shortage in the United States right now.
At the same time that Title 42 ended, a federal judge placed a temporary block on the U.S. government from releasing migrants that are in custody without court notices. The ruling will expire in 14 days, but the Biden administration is expected to appeal.